The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
I am the face that runs the place.
You need Roman to be out of the main title picture for a little while. Like, just, you give him a break. This is the only way you're possibly going to get the crowd to do anything but boo him, is give him a break.
I'm the greatest wrestler in the world.
It was exciting to see because it kind of reminded me of Reading Rainbow a little bit.
All he needed was LeVar Burton to come in there.
This would have definitely got a 5-star pay-per-view for me.
Show of the year.
Yeah, show of the year.
I know better than anybody. I'm not Charlotte Flair. We've trained for years in the Performance Center. We've had matches before. She looks like she was born inside that ring. Yes, I don't have her DNA and I don't have her bloodline. I'm not Charlotte Flair, but what I do have is 2 victories over Charlotte. So this Sunday at the Royal Rumble, I'm going to walk to that ring with my tassels and my high fives, and I'm walking out of the ring with that Raw Women's Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the max.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughan, Sean Garmer, and Paul Leazar.
Welcome, everybody, to Wrestling to the Max, episode 231, part 1. And tonight, we are going to get you guys kicked off with some wrestling news. That's right. We still have people moving around promotion to promotion. There's a big name leaving AAA. Plus, we're also going to be talking about controversy in New Japan. That's right. Shibata is in the middle of it, and we're going to get into that. And, of course, WB has a certain superstar who's begging to be a part of the Royal Rumble and is asking fans to help him along with that project. Well, and we also got some other great stuff. We'll also be talking some New Japan as well. There were some shows that we had over this past weekend, so we'll be getting to those. Also, we're going to be talking Ring of Honor. So we've got a full show for you guys. We are totally excited about it. I'm your host, Gary Vaughan, and of course with me is Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everybody?
And Mr. Paul Leazar.
Hey-yo.
And boy, I mean, we had, a long show, maybe one of the longest shows we had in episode 230, part 2. 2.5 hours, I think we went, and it's amazing. I don't think we're going to hit that, guys, tonight, but we had a lot of news in that episode.
Well, since we've gone to the split format.
Yeah,
probably.
I was about to say, I don't think anything's got. We've done 4.5-hour podcasts before we did the split. So
yeah, I guess I should have mentioned the whole brand split thing with us, right? That's the way it feels, right? One show on Monday, Thursday. Yeah, no, yeah, I'm right. You guys are completely right. But you did have those long, forever shows, which I don't know that it felt forever sometimes. Sometimes it did. And sometimes it was a lot of fun getting through them. But I'm glad the way we do it now. We get a little piece here, and then we kind of move on to the next day and get a little bit more. So it's a lot better for all of us. And it's just good stuff. So, and a lot more pleasing on the ears, trust me. But yeah, I mean, how are things going, guys? I'm trying not to get sick. I'm going to be honest. I'm feeling a little weird right now. So if you don't hear me for a few seconds, I either died or I'm puking my guts out. But anyway, how are you doing, Mr. Paul?
I'm doing just fine. Doing same old. Weeks just keep on rolling. I'm doing NXT this Friday. So if you're in the Dallas area, I'll let your boy.
Yeah, that's so cool, man.
Go.
We'll be expecting to hear more about that because I know that's going to be a blast. I know Sean and I went to NXT Dallas, which, I mean, oh my God, that atmosphere was amazing. So I'm assuming it's still going to be really fun, though, and a big atmosphere in NXT for Paul. So
I went to that first NXT Miami. It was pretty fun. The second NXT Miami, I kind of just forgot to go to, but the one I went to was good.
That's awesome.
I'm just worried that it being before TakeOver, you might have some less than stellar performances, seeing as they got big matches the next day. But you never know. You never know.
I don't really remember anything being like totally out of this world other than the Balor Joe match that happened in the main event. Other than that, I don't. Everything else was kind of, okay. There was some good stuff. So it's a house show. You know how it is. You go in with those lowered expectations.
I'm just imagining a lot of tag matches.
Yeah, I mean, there's always those guys that just aren't like totally big on the show yet, and they'll sometimes get those singles matches or whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it lasts very long is another story.
Yeah.
But,
Right.
And it's going to be fun, though. I mean, you get to see all the superstars up close and personal, and I think it'll be a blast. I'm excited for you, Paul. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, Sean, I know we had a kind of a big weekend. We had those championship games in football, and to be honest with you, I walked out of the weekend pretty happy.
Well, they were boring, so I mean, this has kind of been the postseason for you for the NFL. Let's just massacre the other teams so you can stop watching by halftime. That's kind of what's been happening. I mean, I don't know that the Cowboys would have fared any better than the Packers did. I have to think that having a running game would have helped, at least so we could keep them in points. And I still feel that our defense is better than the Packers' defense. I know there's going to be people that might care about football that are going to say, are you guys just being homers or whatever, but I still would love to have known what would have happened. I don't know that we would have won considering how big that score was, but, I like to think that the game would have been better. And the Patriots are the Patriots. They absolutely destroy the Steelers every time, so.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Hey, I'm right there with you, Paul. But thank God I was rooting for Patriots.
Man, people saying thank God for Patriots. Oh, I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. I hope Atlanta kicks them in the face in the Super Bowl. I can't stand New England, but I don't like Pittsburgh either, so it was a win-win there.
Yeah. Same here. Sean, I was just terrified that Big Ben was going to find a way and pull an Aaron Rodgers and win a Super Bowl, and that'd be the seventh one.
As soon as they figured out they couldn't cover a Hogan, I knew it was over. So
yeah, that's right, brother.
Right? Exactly, brother.
Hogan Mania is coming your way a couple Sundays.
I wouldn't be surprised if the way that they bring Hogan back is he inducts somebody into the Hall of Fame. That's how they bring him back for that. I mean, hey, it's a docile way to bring him back, So.
I'm not going to use the comment. I was about to say something, but I backed out of it because it's probably inappropriate. So I'll save that one for
inappropriate? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, shocker.
You're like the king of inappropriate.
I just wanted to say, for God's sakes, it better be someone that's African American that he inducts.
Oh, come on now.
I'm just saying, to be honest. I mean,
what? I wonder if they would do that. If they didn't have a crowd there, I think they would. But knowing that the crowd would probably boo the hell out of it. I think, yeah.
And plus, Ron Simmons may be in the crowd. And
is there anybody getting inducted we've heard of yet that's not
even
white?
The rumors? Oh, no.
Everybody's white. Right?
Everybody's white, yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but...
That's terrible.
I was going to say, even the rumor people that are mentioned to get in, though, he hasn't really had a lot of affiliation with, maybe outside of DDP. But that's a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're gonna, if something's gonna be up with Kurt, because like Orlando feels like would have been the perfect time to induct The Rock, but they don't seem to be caring too much about the location anymore as to whether they induct guys or not.
Yeah, and New Orleans would not be a bad place for The Rock either to be inducted. So,
true.
Who's to know?
I mean, The Rock can go in anywhere, but
Yeah, you're right about that. I'm just saying if they wanted to do that with a really big emotional thing. So, but yeah, I mean, we're already kind of talking some news. So we're about to jump into some quick hits in a second here. I just want to let everybody know if you want to find all of our content that we have, like the Monday Night Raw that me and Paul just recorded, or the SmackDown Live that Sean and Paul will be recording tomorrow night, go check out the W2M Network. Yeah, that's right. Go subscribe. Push one button. You get all of our shows in a bundle, plus a lot more great shows that you're not going to want to miss. Also, don't forget W2Mnet.com. Not only going to find our podcast there, but you can also go find written reviews. That's right. We got plenty of wrestling written reviews for you guys, as well as some video game stuff like other written reviews and some great stories about the video games in this current time and in the past. So trust me, go check it out now. But yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's talk some quick hits, guys.
Let's do it.
It's time for wrestling news. Quick hits.
All
right, let's do this. All right, let's start out by talking about something that makes me kind of weary a little bit, but then again, kind of excited for this guy. Pentagon Jr., one of my favorites, has decided to leave AAA. That's right. So he is out the door, and he's been spotted and going to be probably wrestling for Conan's promotion. But this is a big deal. I mean, to me, this is a big name in AAA that really kind of had some fan support. People like me that don't even live in Mexico or don't know much about it love. So, what do you guys think about this?
So Pentagon has never had a giant following in AAA, right? He's got big in Lucha Underground. AAA kind of lucked into what they had with him and started pushing him towards the mid-card spots, but they never really jumped and put him in the big-time matches, right, for the Mega Championship or anything like that. So this isn't the first guy who's left. A lot of the people that were in Lucha Underground have left AAA since Lucha Underground has taken off. Pentagon and, of course, Phoenix, who's also left AAA as far as I'm aware. They're wrestling as a tag team in AAW. Pentagon Jr.'s also had the big gold belt up there. So, I mean, they're finding their home here in the States now. And Pentagon's working for Conan's promotion to Crash down in Mexico now, who's looking for television there. So, I mean, it's interesting. I hate his new name, though. Penta El Cierro Miedo is just use Cierro Miedo. Like, it's not...
Or
can't be, like,
Miedo,
unnecessary. Yeah, it's just an unnecessary mouthful.
I think he's just, just to make sure everybody that doesn't remember his nickname, you get the Penta in there just to make sure, I guess. I'm with you, though. The less convoluted you make it, the better it is for everybody. But
yeah,
it is what it is. I think this is kind of continuing the whole bloodletting that seems to be happening with AAA at the moment of, okay, well, this guy doesn't, Sexy Star had a problem with him. Okay, I'm going to retire and then take off my mask, say I'm going to be doing boxing, but then I'm going to wrestle in the United States. His brother, Phoenix, leaves. Now he's Ray Phoenix, because he had to change his name like 3 times because he went back and then AAA trademarked that name, so he had to change it again. And, it's probably going to keep happening. I don't know how many people are really left. I mean, Dr. Wagner's old, but, I don't know how many people are really left that are just AAA guys that are still doing Lucha Underground at this point. I guess Mil Muertes and Cuerno. But, you used to have been able to name a lot more. And then now it seems like as the years go on, more and more are leaving AAA. And that doesn't really sound great, I guess, on our end. But we have to remember they have a ton of old guys they can just keep calling back. I mean, right now they're building to a year-long match between Psycho Clown and Dr. Wagner Jr. I mean, you can't be more out of touch with the younger crowd than they are right now.
Wow. That is not good.
Well, I mean, it seems like in Mexico they care way more about their old guys staying around than any of the other, other regions of the world. So I guess that works out for them.
The Lucha Libre is also something that likes to tie itself very deeply into history, and it's not just AAA. CMLL does it too. So I mean, it's very common.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess what you're saying is if you're, a fan of it in Mexico, you're probably excited, but people on the outside are just like, eh.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, who knows? I mean, AAA may find a way to get other talent, younger talent. I don't know. It's never a good sign when some of your better superstars or younger stars are leaving to go find other things to do. It's just not good, at least from our point of view, or at least mine. But yeah, I mean, that's really interesting. One thing I will say is, earlier, Sean had posted something on our W2M Facebook page, which if you're not a part of it, go join it now. I mean, trust me, we have all sorts of people on there. It's an awesome page. But Sean had posted a question about AJ Styles' WrestleMania opponent, and my dream was to have Pentagon Jr. against AJ Styles, but that'll never happen. But I wanted to post that so bad.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Well, you never know. But yeah, he's still tied to that Lucha Underground contract, so he's kind of stuck.
Yeah. It'd be forever before they could make it. So, but that's some interesting news with the Pentagon. But let's talk about some other superstars here. Let's talk about one that isn't WB. That is James Ellsworth, and he is up there and looking around, saying, "Hey guys, I want to be a part of this Royal Rumble." And he's actually put some tweets out there to the fans about that, see their reaction. I mean, to me, this is something that would make sense. I mean, they always throw these kind of guys in the Rumble somewhere. But, I mean, is it really that thought process that he's not going to be a part of it? That's kind of weird to me.
I mean, I think you look at what happened tonight on Raw, and they're up to 21 announced names so far. So, you have your one or two call-ups from NXT. You have maybe two more surprises after that. It doesn't leave a ton of room. And really, I think they need to focus on the Rumble being used as a catalyst to build up the guys that are going to be a big part of the product. And, I mean, you might have a couple of hanger-oners here and there, but certainly I don't know if he needs a spot. But if he gets in there, it's not like it's going to – I don't think it'd be too big a skin off my nose if he made it in.
Yeah. I always thought that skin off my nose things. Like, I never really thought of like taking skin. I know you can, but it's just. I'm sorry.
It would hurt.
It's just dumb, but like.
It would be painful though. Think about that. I don't want my nose being skinned up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's peeling, it's fine. But anyway. So I mean, James Ellsworth is kind of. They do like to have these comedy things in there of, I wonder if Ellsworth would be the next guy to try to break the record of, I don't know how much more you can break that record, honestly. Can you really get to 0.0 seconds? They do like having the comedy character, so I wouldn't put it past them to sacrifice somebody's spot for that. Like Paul said, we already got 21. I don't know why this wasn't the Rumble where they said, let's do 40 again. Because you've got the talent for it. You've got the time, certainly, because now you're making us sit through 6 hours of Royal Rumble again. Oh, for God's sakes. Think about the time. Think about people's time, WWE. It's precious. Apparently not to them. But, yeah, y'all ready for this? 6 hours?
Oof. That hurts just thinking about it, Sean.
That's why I like more than what we already watch.
Yeah, but I like to watch it on a delay, kind of like I can Raw, so I can fast forward.
I also like to watch it in different days, not sit there and watch it all at once. Plus, we're going to have 3 hours of around 3 hours of TakeOver the night before. So, and if you watch New Japan, you get New Japan for 2.5 hours on Friday. So, just saying.
Yeah, that's a lot of content. It really is. And I don't get to watch all the New Japan stuff you guys watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Royal Rumble will still be fun, though. It'll be exciting, even though it is going to be so long. Let's talk about something that may not be fun for New Japan. They're going to be trying to figure out what's going to be going on with Shibata. And he has some controversy surrounding him because there have been some rumors out there that he's having extramarital relations. And this is a pretty big deal in Japan. So, of course, we talked about Hanma, a guy, I don't know, was it a year ago? Had some similar situations taking place, but he pretty much got cleared of all that. But this could affect Shibata. And, he just reclaimed the undisputed British Championship. And that was against, I think, Matt Riddle. And he's also going to be... I'm sorry, was it not?
Yeah, he retained it. He beat Zack Sabre Jr. at the Global War shows last year.
Thank you. So he retained it against Matt Riddle. He's got a big match against
Pro. You know that we had our first ever WWE versus New Japan match at that same Rev Pro show. You had Pete Dunne against Yoshihashi.
Ooh,
just interesting.
Yeah. They actually let that happen instead of apparently, as long as you're not on Flow Slam, you're good.
Exactly.
There
you go, Flow Slam.
Now there's rumors that perhaps one of those UK guys could be in the Rumble, and that's why they got pulled from those shows as well. So,
I hope it's done.
They're gonna fly some of those guys in. Maybe they were gonna do. I mean, they already have 2 pre-show matches set, but you got 2 hours. Maybe you do a pre-show match of some of them or something. Who knows?
Yeah, sure. But back to Shibata. I mean, this is kind of a big deal. I mean, what do you guys think is going to happen? I mean, I know he's been kind of pushed, and he's doing great in Rev Pro.
I don't think they're going to do a whole lot because Taichi was shamed in the media and everything else. Shibata, nothing. In fact, a lot of big sites didn't even talk about it. To be honest, it seems like it's that Twitter, scuttlebutt, social media stuff that is really what got it anywhere, and that, you don't just all of a sudden, you could have waited any other day to announce that Okada's getting married to this chick, but you do it the same day that stuff comes out. Sounds more like Kadani's like, well, this is Katsuyori Shibata we're talking about here. I stuck out my neck for him and brought him back in 2012. Now we're pushing him and stuff. I don't know that we want to just, totally kick him to the curb right now. So, let's find a way to cover this up. So that's also when the Kadani, that big Kadani interview that we talked for about an hour about on the previous show also came out around that time. So, I'm just saying, I think they knew about it and they're like, strategy all ahead. How do we get people to not talk about this thing?
I never put the Okada thing together with that, but it's still interesting if this does come back to get him. Like you mentioned, Taichi is a big example who got a pay cut and was not doing so well as far as media stuff goes, but they shifted him over to Noah and suddenly people cared a lot less. So, I don't know. It could affect Shibata. I mean, it looks... For all the people who say every year that it could be Shibata's year to win the G1, this year it might have been the first year that it had merit. I don't know if it's going to be so much anymore, but he does have a lot of success going on for him in Rev Pro. Like he's defending the championship against Will Ospreay at New Beginning. It'll be interesting to see if he retains there or anything like that, but I think it's something to keep an eye on for sure, just because this is something that's taken a lot. And it's taken seriously here in the States. It's taken much more seriously over there, just because the way you reflect upon everything else that you do is weighed a lot more in Japan than it is here.
Well, Gary, I mean, you being the resident guy that likes to talk about things that are inappropriate, do you want to discuss his text that he sent?
Oh, yes. Let's get dirty here. Let's talk about it.
God.
I hope it's
okay, so apparently he talks, him and the chick are talking, and they know that, or he knows she's coming over, so she blatantly asks him, hey, did you wash your vag? And she says, yes, I did. And then they talk about, basically having sex. I think then they pretty much leave it at that. But I'm just, Have you ever just randomly said that? Hey, did you wash your pads today?
Yeah, I never asked my wife that. But, I'm just sure the response would not go well. Not that she don't clean it, but
there's nicer
like,
ways to say that. But obviously, if it's not somebody you really care about that much, you're not gonna,
Yeah, I mean, you can get away with it when it's just a monotonous kind of thing, just kind of run around thing, a fling. But when you're invested in somebody, they don't like hearing that kind of stuff.
I always just use the whole "I'm gonna take a shower" thing. So if you're gonna take a shower, cool. That way, you're clean. We're all clean. It's good. You don't have to go explicitly ask them, hey, did you use some of that summer's eve? So
I can see Sean now. I'm gonna go take a shower, and he grabs her arm, pulls her with him. What are you doing?
Why not? You're already in the shower. So
yeah, I just think it's kind of funny. But yeah,
maybe he just brings the no nonsense part of his gimmick over into his texting affairs as well.
Yeah, he just straight up like.
Let's not beat around the bush here.
Oh wow! Woof.
Well,
wow, and maybe he goes a little bit strong style too. So
maybe he does. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he likes to put her in the sleeper hold.
To each his own,
Different kind of penalty kick follows up, I think, though.
Yeah, certainly.
Hey,
but,
shoot Nio to an invitation. Anyway,
wow. He's just gonna lay over there. I'm tranquilo.
Yeah. I'm just here to watch. So, but anyway.
He makes sure he has that eye open too,
Yeah, him and Jeff Hardy are sitting over there.
Oh God, don't you?
I've got my eyes closed so they can be wide open.
Naito will probably sit there and go, "Man, I'm losing IQ points." Just sitting here staring at you, Jeff Hardy.
Put away that purple belt. But anyway, let's talk about belts, right? Let's talk about the fact that WWE is considering and most likely probably going to be getting new titles for the mid-card, and that means the Intercontinental title and the U.S. Championship both will have new looks. Now, the only thing we know is that the big WWE logo will not be a part of those championships. I don't know, guys. I mean, this could be good. I don't really have a problem with the titles as they sit. I mean, I don't know what the big deal is, why they want to change them. Are they just bored?
I mean, I think everything else has sort of been revamped, right? They just want to carry it over to everything else. The U.S. title and the Intercontinental title look fine. The U.S. title could use a revamp. 'Cause it hasn't changed looks really since they instated it outside of the brief time that Cena had the spinner. So, there's a lot of pictures floating around online of them using the big WWE logo, but as you just said, and everything I've read has said that they're not. It's rumored that they're not going to use the big W either. So, I'd be interested to see what they come out with. I always like the look of. I always like to see new championships. So
I have a feeling they're going to have there's going to be a red tint and a blue tint to those, or the belt itself will be that color to represent that they're of that brand. I don't know. The IC title is such a classic. Like, I hate that if they would change really what it looks like. The U.S. title, there's kind of a lot you could do with that, so I'd be interested to see what they could come up with, but I just hate seeing that IC title go.
I like that oval look that they had for it for a while, so they call upon that for something else. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that's true. The Attitude Era one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty classic.
Yeah. If they're going to do it, I'll just say this. Just don't make him too ridiculous. Come on. I mean, I guess I could understand the blue and red tint, but I just want to see
it's that
something
branding,
quality.
Gary. You know they like it.
I know. It's just, it's whatever. It's not mine. It's not like I get a chance to hold it. The hardcore 24/7 hour one. Let's do that one. I like that one. Because I could actually hold that belt, If some dude's asleep, lay on top,
of
1, 2, 3.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's true. But it's so gorgeous at the same point. Anyway. Well, that is quick hits, guys. I know we didn't have a ton of them, but we had a lot last Thursday, so we kind of shortened our list this week. But we do have some other stuff to talk about. Not only are we going to talk Ring of Honor, but next we're going to jump into Fantastica Mania. And Paul is actually kind of run down a little bit of the highlights of that, kind of give us the 3 nights and maybe some of the thoughts and areas that they made some changes of whatever happened on the show. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's talk Fantastica Mania.
I was going to say that the reason it's not a separate thing like we said we were going to do is because I just forgot to watch it on Saturday, and then Sunday came. I probably could have watched the game on one screen and watched that on the other screen, but I wasn't feeling great, and then I was like, I'm not watching 3-hour shows all day today, so sadly it's going to be kind of Paul just running things down. So if you wanted some big Fantastica Mania hot takes, only one person on this one.
No, but Paul's got it. He'll give it to us good.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold
on. King of Sport. New Japan Pro Wrestling.
All right, Paul, take it away.
All right. So the last 3 shows at Kurokin is what made New Japan World. And overall, the results don't really matter, right? It's crossover shows. They're meant to be fun. You have some CMLL title defenses. There aren't any title changes or anything like that. You pick any show at random, you're going to have a good time. There's not really a bad match across any of them. There's some good ones here and there. But really, I think performances is what really should matter here. So I'm going to start Hinare, the big heavyweight, or not the big heavyweight, but the heavyweight they've been pushing from the Young Lions division. I think really stuck out here. He looked great amongst all the guys. It looks like he's really come along. His work in the tag league was okay. It looks like he shifted gears, and really, I thought he was awesome this whole weekend. So he'd be one I'd look out for. LIJ, Los Ingobernables de Japón. Rush and Atlantis had a big thing, so I'm assuming that's going to carry over into CMLL. But LIJ did not lose the entire weekend. They looked strong. They had all the group matches. They looked great. The other big thing you sort of have going on is Ultimo Guerrero and Euphoria. They had a deal with the Sky Team, which is Mystico and Valador Jr., where they sort of beat them up the first 2 nights on the 20th and 21st, beat them in their matches, and then they lost the singles on the 22nd, and both of those were great. And you have a lot of crossover, right, with what's happening in New Japan as far as Dragon Lee and Takahashi goes. Titan looked great once again. Is a guy I would not mind seeing around again for Best of the Super Juniors this year. Or Dragon Lee, for that example. He was awesome. There's so much talent, basically, in CML. Atlantis, at 54 years old, looked great. Maximo Sexy was another one that really impressed me, too. The CMLL World Heavyweight Champion. He's got a lot for him. Not to mention, for as big as he is, he can bounce really high, and that will never cease to not impress me. So, all these shows are worth checking out. Like I said, pick one at random, one that picks your fancy, go with it. You're gonna have a good time. There's nothing bad on these, and for something that's really just meant to sort of cool you down from all the good stuff from Wrestle Kingdom, leading into the beginnings of the next calendar year with New Beginning and the New Japan Cup going on. They're absolutely worth your time if you're just looking for some wrestling to sit back and enjoy. Plus, Okada dances, and he comes out with a king mask. Like, it's so different from what he usually does.
That's awesome. Oh, wow. So it sounds like a great trio of shows for people to go check out if you love New Japan Wrestling, or if you're just looking for good wrestling, go check those shows out. Paul just gave you a great endorsement, and, go enjoy them for sure. One thing I just want to shout out to is, does anybody know who Okada married? Because some of these, big superstars, sometimes they marry important people.
Shoot. It's, I think her first name's Yuri.
Mm-hmm.
Or what would be her? Yeah, it would be her family name at that point. But she is an announcer or a reporter for TVSI, the TV company that is tied with New Japan, has been pretty much since the inception. So, and they're 1 year apart in age.
Oh, wow. That was pretty cool. So it is someone of note that people do know in Japan. That's the only reason I was asking.
Yeah, it would be like the equivalent of Romo marrying the lady that he married.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. So that makes sense. A lot of sense. Okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, we are going to move on past New Japan and all the great stuff that they have to offer. And we're going to talk some Ring of Honor. That's right. We are going to talk this week's TV tapings. And we'll be right back with Ring of Honor right after this, guys.
Oh, damn it. I keep forgetting to put the music.
Oh, that's okay. It's okay. We'll get it. We'll remember next time. But yeah, okay. Well, then go ahead and take it away, Paul, again.
So Ring of Honor opens this week with a video package recapping Aries. Jesus. Skrull and Ospreay's sort of run in the Reach for the Sky tour, where both of them ended up winning the TV champion. Of course, Skrull is still the TV champion. They'll be making their ROH TV debuts tonight, and they jump right into that with Marty Skrull taking on Jonathan Gresham. I really, really like this match. You have a lot of storytelling, and Gresham sort of stepping up to the big newcomer who stepped up and won the TV title during the tour. There's a lot of great storytelling, I think, between them. Not to mention a lot of hold for hold stuff that you would expect. And of course, Marty wins, but not as much of a squash as I really thought it was going to be. And Gresham, I think, really looks good in this.
I totally agree. I was honestly a little taken aback. Usually, when guys are debuting, at least on TV, they usually give the first match a squash or pretty much a squash, and this was nothing like that. And Gresham looked great. I mean, honestly, at times, I was like, are they really going to put him over? Are they really going to do that? Or this is going to be a DQ? Watch, it's going to be a DQ. And no, it was a clean win. But at the same point, both guys got their stuff in. Both guys looked excellent in this match. I thought to myself watching it, I said, I already know who's getting points in our Superstar of the Week this week. At least that's the way I felt. I mean, I was right there loving this match at the beginning. So that was really great and a great way to get the show kicked off. And I have one quick question before we move on to another match, though. I got to ask you, Paul. Colt Cabana was talking on his podcast about how he really didn't appreciate the fact that Jack Gallagher uses the umbrella gimmick, even though he does know that for a long time Marty Skrull's been using it. So what do you think about that? I really never put that together.
I mean, it's a prop. It doesn't bother me all that much. Skrull, he uses it very rarely in matches, and it just sort of completes his villain outfit stuff, which by his entrance on this show is absolutely killer. Like the light show and everything they do, coupled with the video package. Like, he's got a really killer indie entrance going for him in this. I totally dig it. But the umbrella thing doesn't really bother me all that much. Does it bother you now, or?
No, not at all, really, honestly. But I get where maybe he may be coming from, especially if, let's say, Skrull wants to go to WWE or something like that. That's been part of his gimmick for a long time, and for him to have to drop that because Jack Gallagher made it first to WWE, I could understand that. Because, it's weird, but I can understand where he's coming from. But it does not bother me. I saw Jack Gallagher with an umbrella and just as happy as normal. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So sprinkled out throughout the show, they give you the Wrestle Kingdom highlights of the ROH title match, even in the middle of the frickin' main event, which pissed me off to no end because it ruined the flow. But we'll get to that later. But they have those in there. So if you didn't know, Adam Cole beat Kyle O'Reilly to be a 3-time ROH champion. They made a big deal about that. However, next up on the show, Daniels takes on Sabin in the semifinal, or the first semifinal for the Decade of Excellence tournament. I thought this was largely fine. The crowd didn't seem overly interested till you get to the finishing stretch, but Daniels does win with a Uranagi into the best moonsault ever to win. I enjoyed it. It's nothing overly special, right?
It's really not. And it just makes me wonder what their thought process, because I think these guys can put on a better show. And maybe it's about the finality of this or what, but I mean, is this Daniel's last run? We haven't really talked about that. Or are they portraying that because they act like this guy's like leaving next week? Like,
yeah, they're certainly building it up like this is his sort of last shot to win the ROH title, just because age and all that's catching up to him. And Kazarian was very big on putting that over. So I don't know if he's like thinking about retiring anytime soon or what, but maybe they're just trying to weave it into the narrative of the tournament that, hey, Daniels, he's old, right, guys? This could be it for him.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I thought maybe they were saving him for later in this tournament. That's why they did not have just a spectacular match. And none of these guys can. So I think at the end of the day, it was fine. You got your point across. Both guys were nicey to each other, which was kind of odd. But it makes sense.
Well, I mean, they sort of turned Daniels and Kazarian face in the aftermath of Ladder War, and then sort of trying to make sure Daniels gets as much success as he possibly can. Because Kazarian had that awesome promo back, I think, in like early December, where he said he'd die to make sure everybody remembered the addiction, and Christopher Daniels as, you know, some of the best to come through Ring of Honor. And I mean, Daniels certainly deserves it. He's one of the founding fathers. I mean, if you listen to Wrestling Time Machine podcast that I do, and I have another episode on tap sometime soon, he's a big part of their opening narratives and opening main event scene, really. So a guy who's been around and has been a very large part of Ring of Honor history, he hasn't held the world title yet, and certainly that's something to harp on if he does in fact win this tournament.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, it's really cool. You know, I just, you know, I get the whole, you know, being more of a babyface right now, but in my heart of hearts, he's never going to be that. I love him the way he's been for a long time, and I'll accept this, but I'll accept it halfway. So I just can't. I just don't want to. This guy could kiss babies, and I'd be like, "No, you're not like that. You're a mean jerk."
Well, I'm okay with Face Daniels. He's doing a good job of it, in my opinion. So we get a video recap of the Cody and Carino stuff from last week, and then we cut to the outside of the arena where Martinez, Sullivan, BJ Whitmer, and Carino were all huddled around a trash can fire, and Carino apologizes for failing the family, that he didn't destroy Cody. And Sullivan says, you know, you didn't fail. I'm just happy you found your way back to us and that you did what you did to him, because now you can go and you can take out the Golden One. So I don't know if that's a reference to Goldust or if that's going to work itself into whatever time they have left with him on the tapings or what, but it certainly feels like that's how they're writing him off to go to the WWE. In a wink, wink, nudge, nudge sort of form.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that about myself, and I thought this might be another goodbye too. And I don't know, I don't know how many more he does have in the tank for them. But you know, at the end of the day, it is kind of a send off in a fashion, so it makes complete sense. But it just kind of sucks because we're kind of waiting on him to just go. So
right. And then that leads us into the main event: Dragon Lee, Kushida, Will Ospreay in a triple threat. I think if what you're picturing is flippies and crazy over the top moves, then you were not disappointed, because this was good. Very, very little botches here and there. I mean, there's just some small ones, but it's nothing big that really takes you out of the match. And Kushida ends up coming out on top. He hits this absolutely incredible flipping around DDT on Ospreay, and then absolutely murders him with a small package driver. And I thought this was great. The cutaway at the very beginning after the opening sequence they do to the Ring of Honor title match at Wrestle Kingdom just absolutely destroyed this as far as flow, because there was absolutely no reason to do that. But everything else I really enjoyed.
I totally agree. I was a little bit surprised that they messed up the whole flow of this, because I was thinking to myself, okay, what's the purpose in that? Like, you're having a good match, you're having an exciting one, everybody's flying everywhere, and you're kind of taking a pause from that. Oh, guys, hold off, take a break, take a breather. Okay, let's get back into it. I didn't appreciate that either. But at the end of the day, it was a great, solid main event. It was exciting. It was everything you expected it to be, at least to me. I expected all these guys to do similar, to what they did in this match, and boy, did they not disappoint. I really felt like they'd put on a great show here. So much love to all three of those guys. I mean, they just put it out there. But yeah, I mean, it's a solid way to really showcase three guys who are really just, man, at the top of their game.
I feel like it's worth mentioning, too, that commentary plays up the fact that Ospreay has yet to beat Kushida in New Japan or in any of their singles encounters, and they keep that alive here. So some more of that New Japan booking. I know we talked about whenever we were talking about the New Japan G1 shows that are going to go on in LA later this year, about how maybe if they decide to run more here in the States, they wouldn't need Ring of Honor so much. And And maybe at this point they still see them as a very vital part of their build to all that. So something to keep an eye on, I think, moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
They finished out the clips for Wrestle Kingdom for the title match, and then that's your Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and I did not actually get a chance to see the match. The highlights are what kind of filled me in on what happened. I'm sure Paul was live or you saw him on the actual show. But I appreciated, the fact that they did show. I think that their spots and choosing where to put that was kind of sucky. I wish they could have done a better job of that. But maybe I get it too. I mean, maybe that was the contractual agreement. You can show this, but you got to split it up between this time, and blah, blah, blah. But it's still not as great. But, it makes sense. Everybody got a chance to see how the title changed hands. That's always a good thing. I can't stand when you have a title change hands and no one sees it and it's, on your main show. Show it. So.
Yeah, and it's a history-making thing.
Anyway, well, that is... Go ahead.
Really? It's a history-making thing for Ring of Honor. Nobody's ever been a 3-time ROH champion. So, Adam Cole making some history. Yeah,
for sure, man. That's really cool. I did not know that. And did that actually take place this past week, or was that old, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks old?
Yeah, Wrestle Kingdom was January 4th. So this is quite... Like, Kushida still had the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title in that he lost it at Wrestle Kingdom. So
Okay, so it is. Okay. Well, that makes sense. So it really wouldn't count as anything this week with us. So
right.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is our Ring of Honor, guys. We appreciate everybody who's came and checked out the show. We've had a lot of great stuff in this show. We are excited about, of course, Thursday night show. Not only are we going to be talking about some Impact Wrestling, we're also going to be jumping into some big news topics, but we're talking Royal Rumble this next Thursday night live, of course, Friday morning on the download for all you that listen to the download. It is going to be really great. It's going to be a fun show. I can't wait to get into that. Also, don't forget, once again, go check out the Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, 205 Live, and NXT
San Antonio, too.
Oh, thank you, Sean. I almost forgot. That's perfect. Yeah, so we have 2 huge shows this weekend. And I'm assuming, guys, I don't know for a fact how our schedules are lining up, but that are we going to be trying to do a review show of that too? You guys will have to talk
Saturday. It depends.
Yeah.
If I work, it'll probably be in the morning. So, I'm good. I'll be able to watch it live and stuff. So I don't know about you, Paul.
I actually have the Saturday off, so I could do that.
Okay. Well, maybe also. So go ahead and everybody, plan to check your doc. Or Saturday night, you can go check us out live, or you can just find us on the download on Sunday morning, and you can hear all our opinions about NXT TakeOver San Antonio, and of course, don't forget Sunday night, of course, Monday morning, the Royal Rumble review. So, but yeah, also don't forget W2Mnet.com and W2M Network. Go check them both out. Sean, anything we need to tell the people about before we get out of here?
Well, there should be a, barring any weird things, I guess we would still do it, regardless of whether or not what happens. But we should have the football podcast. Who knows if we do a preview show on Thursday, because who the hell wants to preview the Pro Bowl? And there should be Video Games to the Max should return this week. We should also, we did have 2 Running Wild podcasts that are up. We have one where I mentioned before, I think, that Rich interviews Bobby Fish. And then they had one come out over the weekend where Rich interviews Ethan Page, All Ego Ethan Page. So definitely want to check those out for sure, because those interviews are pretty good. And it is the debut of Soccer to the Max this weekend on Sunday. So don't listen live because it's going to be during the Royal Rumble, but you can always listen on demand through the W2M network, because we can't set up an individual feed for that until we've had one episode. So there will be a Soccer to the Max individual feed, but it'll be set up throughout probably on Monday or Tuesday whenever iTunes gets around to doing their thing. But if you subscribe to that W2 network feed, you can listen on Monday morning what we think of the U.S. men's versus Serbia friendly, and some other things that have been going on in soccer.
But there you go. So lots of great content coming your way. Don't miss a minute of it. All right, guys. Well, we are done here. We'll see you guys later in the week. But until then, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all.
You know it.
Peace.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.